Friends, when I tell you we are coming in by the skin of my teeth, but it is Mumamo, which of course means Mutants and Masterminds Monday, where we get to hang out with cool people and talk about Mutants and Masterminds, the world's only superhero TTRPG. It's weird, it seems like a missed opportunity for some, but hey, we're here and we're going to capitalize on it. Look at chat. All kinds of folks in here. Oh, King Snarf. I realized something. You are someone else. You have a real name, like in the real world. And I put it together and I had this little collision of like, oh, that's what you do. Hey, Gods and Game Masters here. Good to see you. Apook, as well. Paul, good to see you, my friend. Captain, no, my captain. My captain, whatever they say. RC is here as well. Raven Fox Audio. Come on, Coffee, you can do it. You can all hear me, right? Usually I ask. And
I can hear you.
Good. Speaking of, can you hear me? Let me pull up some of the most beautiful people that I have ever known in my entire life. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
So we have, of course, you know, the old crew, the crew you love, the crew you know. But we have invited two guests to hang out with us because today we're talking about atomic cosplay. Listen, here's my mission. I'm just going to be straightforward with it. I need these nerds to get into their costumes. Sorry, I put that right over your face.
It's fine. I scoot over.
I just want people to really know what the show is, what the name of the show is, so everyone gets.
Troy does this just so we sit up straight. That's my theory.
Except for
this is Troy posture checking me.
I think I would have to sit really low for that.
You gotta sit a little tilt. We'll fix that here in a moment.
I got atoms in my beard, and not just the ones that are invisible.
So listen, I want these nerds to be dressing up in their costumes. It's a superhero TTRPG. It couldn't get easier than that. I mean, you probably have like a tablecloth at home, you tie it around your neck and you just fly around and there you go. You're super what's your face. And and then I want you to go to conventions and hang out with us dressed as superheroes. So when I need to do something that I don't know anything about, I go to experts. And so I say, hey, Kate the Great, who's really kind of an expert at everything, honestly.
Right? I mean, if you insist.
SgtStrawberry agrees. Why don't we do this? Kate, introduce yourself, and then we'll go to SgtStrawberry, and then we'll just we'll kind of crack open this whole thing. And by the time we're done, everyone at home is going to be in a costume.
I love it. Hello, I am Kate, aka Kate the Great Cosplays, and also Don't Kill My Character, which is where I stream my own Mutants and Masterminds show, Superhero Shenanigans, and how I got welcomed into this awesome community of yours. So I also run cosplay meetups at conventions, and that's how I met Melissa, SgtStrawberry, and a lot of other super, super talented cosplayers. My own cosplay style is find it, glue it, thrift it. When all else fails, find someone else to help me make it. I have a needle phobia, so I do not sew anything. So the expertise that I bring today is how to make the cosplays with the more limited skill set, but the big dreams. And talking about wanting people to cosplay on your own shows. So my character on Superhero Shenanigans, Marley, I have a red leather jacket that she wears when she's in hero action mode. I have a blazer that she wears when she's at work. I have not shown the thing that I have to pull on for her when she's relaxing, but I usually have it off to the side. I just forget to put it on in those moments because they happen to be some pretty beautiful, heavy roleplay ones, and I don't think about my costume change. But costuming for actual plays does not have to be big things. It can be little things, and for me, it helps get into character more. So start costuming, do the thing. It's cool. It's fun.
I'm sorry. Squire says an all-towel costume, the toweler. I mean, that just sounds like you're wearing a robe. Some kind of Harry
I mean,
Potter.
I can see the character already. I think it'll work.
SgtStrawberry, tell me all about you. You are our new BFF. I want to know everything. Oh, that's right when your mic went out. It's that kind of show today, friends. But we're going to get through it. By the time we're done, we are going to, our costume will look like we're podcasters. No.
Exactly. No.
Let's see if you are. You look all good on my end. It's just not coming through. So Sergeant Strawberry is a mime, and so they will be miming all of their costumery advice and
Is it working now?
yes, we
Yes.
hear you.
All right,
My
cool.
friend.
No more headphones then. Hi, I'm a cosplayer, Pennsylvania-based. I've started designing some of my own cosplays that are like original designs. I don't compete that often, but I compete for skit and sometimes craftsmanship.
Mhm.
I met Kate through cosplay and through the giant Critical Role community, and she's now one of my best friends in the whole world.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Now I'm going to, because I had a little computer malfunction. Let's see. I'm going to try to pull up a couple of your
Oh,
cosplays. And
yeah, that.
so now, when you two are working out, what gets you to decide that you're going to make a costume? Like you're like, that's what I'm going to do. Like, is it a popular thing, or do you go for like maybe some of the more offbeat, sort of the main trail characters, or how do you get to that point?
I do a lot of side characters, because I choose the ones that I either relate to or I just love them as characters, or Taliesin Jaffe owns my soul. He has a tendency to design characters as a challenge to cosplayers. Where he's like, haha, here's this, now try to do that.
What a
And I
great
go,
relationship to have. Yeah.
okay, and I do it.
You do it very well.
It's just, do I love the character, or does that costume design really just go, oh, I need to figure out how to make that because it's confusing.
Right. Okay. So you do look for the challenge in that. I suppose as you level up your game a bit, you're sort of looking for something that's both challenging and fun.
Yep.
And yeah, I love that. I love
And
that. Kate,
for
how about you?
me,
Yeah.
it's very much, what characters I love and want to wear. So that's been everywhere from friends of the mouse and princesses and some Disney characters. And then Critical Role as well. When I host meetups, so I do these events at conventions where it'll be a bunch of people who are in one type of cosplay, be that original characters or Critical Role or Disney or TTRPGs in general. And I want to wear an outfit that's themed to that meetup that I'm doing, but also something that's going to be comfortable enough for me to be running around hosting the event. So for me, comfort is actually a big thing with my cosplays,
Yeah.
unless I know I'm doing something specifically for this is just a photo shoot. This is just a con that I am at to not run events, which I think only happens once a year now that I'm at a con and not running anything. So for me, the comfort in the movement of the costume is really important. But also, if I have a project that I want to do with a friend or just whatever my hyperfixation is of the moment, I think that when you're choosing who to cosplay, it has to be someone that you love and you're going to have a lot of fun with, because you're probably going to spend a decent amount of time, money, creating or finding the cosplay and putting it on and wearing it. So your love for what you wear, what you do in general, has to be there in order for it to happen at all.
That's smart. Yeah. Well, so first I got to say this. I'm sorry to interrupt. Nate, you little so-and-so. I'm I can't even, I just can't even. You know what you've done.
He does. He does what he
Claude
did.
says sudden call interrupted. What did I miss? I will
Hello,
drink a
Claude.
dainty slipper. Okay, nice. I would imagine Nate has a pair of dainty little slippers he keeps right next to his bed. But I'm going to share this because, one second here, Nate notwithstanding, what an amazing cosplay that is. You were dressed up like that old guy from that one thing. It's incredible. I mean, it is just flawless. Of course, I'm joking.
You look just like Adam Savage from
That's it,
Mythbusters.
yeah.
It's amazing.
I like him.
Incredible.
Yeah, So there's a
love
reason
it.
behind this.
Sorry, I meant to go this way. Look at that. There we
There
go.
we go. There's me.
It looks like you've crocheted him some bacon and eggs.
So it's not crochet.
Oh, what is it?
It's I think it's from PUBG, but I found a foam frying pan because I needed a frying pan I could take to conventions without breaking convention rules.
As you do, yeah.
And then it's kids like play breakfast.
Oh,
And then I individually glued probably thousands of rhinestones to each part of that.
nice. So you kind of bedazzled the little breakfast pan for
Bedazzled breakfast. I could probably kill somebody with that prop.
He's dangerous if you would have more dangerous than if you would have just brought a cast iron pan in with a.
Yeah. So I participate in this event that happens at Katsucon every year called the Cosplay Couture Gala or the Cosplay Met Gala.
Yeah.
And it celebrates original design in cosplay. So for that costume, it's a take on Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle.
I was gonna say, I see that. I love it.
And the it's like a 6-tier layered ball gown skirt. It's crazy. And then I bedazzled breakfast because may all your bacon burn.
I love it. I love it. And then we've got this. What is happening here?
So that is my take on GLaDOS from Portal, specifically Portal 2 because I have the corrupted cores around my waist.
And you are emoting.
So that was.
This feels like Portal the Opera, is what it feels
Yeah.
like.
Right, Portal the rock opera.
So,
Yeah.
That was at Colossal Con East. I did a skit, which was me going on stage and lip syncing for my life. I was lip syncing "Want You Gone" from the ending of Portal 2.
Oh, I see. I see. Yes, lots of reason to emote, and then that's just fabulous.
That's the full dress for Calcifer. Yeah,
it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Let me see if I've got is there one more? Yeah. I think I pulled another one. Talk to me about this.
So that is Ashton Graymore from Critical Role. That is Taliesin designed a Genasi with a crystal head, and went, "Okay, cosplayers, try me," and I went, "Bet." So the entire costume that I'm wearing is made from scratch. I made the pants, I made the vest and patterned out parts of it myself. And then Sam created this little robot character named Fresh Cut Grass. And I love the Muppets, and I took one look at him and went, "That's a Muppet." And so as much as I love the Muppets, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make one. So I did, and he's actually right here.
Look at that! I love that.
Oh my gosh!
He's like 4 feet tall, but he's got arm rods, and I can puppet his mouth. I wore him for. I used a skit. I did a skit in that costume that weekend with the Muppet. And if you've ever seen the 2011 Muppet movie where they sing "Am I a Man or a Muppet?" I went on stage and I sang the human part and made FCG do the Muppet part, and I actually got a judge's award for it.
I love that.
I'd been judged earlier in the day, and one of the judges works in puppetry, and like stuck her hand inside of his head and made sure I made it correctly, and I did. And she's like, "That's it. That's my judge's award."
Yeah. Listen, around here we're always being judged, so you know. I'm hearing some themes here, and one of those themes being collaboration.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it feels like if you are going to tackle cosplay, maybe going it not alone, and kind of hanging out with a friend and sort of getting them to do the puppetry for you. I also want to
Oh
share
no,
this.
I did the puppetry myself.
Oh, you did the puppetry yourself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything was made by Strawberry here. But I
Oh,
think
gotcha.
that
I
though,
thought
to
you were
your point,
saying you just.
having
Yeah, go for it, please.
well, just like the collaboration bit and having someone that you can take the photos with, meet up with, celebrate with. I think that's why the meetups that I host have become so cool and so fun, is because it's a group of people all getting together, celebrating their love for the same thing. But yeah, Melissa made everything and did the puppetry yourself for that.
Yep.
Got you. I got you. I see. For some reason in my mind, I was envisioning you had someone on stage with you doing the puppetry for you while you
Nope,
know.
that was me. I had my hand in his head.
Yep.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
Troy, that's one of the things that strikes me about cosplay from the outside is the combination of both collaboration and everybody also can do everything.
Right. That's exactly right. So yeah. You just have to collaborate and then do it all. I love that. Yeah.
Right.
I love this too. I want to share it real quick. It is such. That's a little small.
Oh,
It is such a beautiful
Oh.
costume. Tell me about this, won't you please?
Oh, sure. While we're on our Critical Role theme, you asked me to send you a photo of a cosplay that I love, and I chose Keyleth because I really love the character, really love the strength that she finds in herself as a leader. And this photo and this photo shoot was just one of the most fabulous times that I had. And I think this costume also shows that you can do anything if you're willing to find the costumes, glue things in with a dream. So most of the pieces there were things that I found thrifted, bought online. Just I'll take character art and find things that get close enough that go for the vibe of the character that I'm looking for. The capelet, which I'm wearing now, used to be a skirt of mine that ripped. So just took the fabric from it and glued leaves on top of it. I could have sewn these, but that would have been a work that I did not want to do. So I glued the leaves onto the old skirt, and it looks so majestic.
It
And
does.
then
Majestic.
the
Absolutely.
yeah, and then the antlers were something that I found a maker on Etsy, and then I added elements, and I've added even more since this photo was taken. So I added the monarch butterflies on. I've added a bit more flowers and foliage. I've added some snowdrops and black feathers to it. Those who know. um, but it's I mean, talking about these characters is a love for the characters, for the community, and yeah, it's so joyful to get to embody these and wear them. So I am so in love with the skills that Melissa has and that so many people at my meetups have. And it can be so intimidating, truly, to be with these just insanely talented craftsmen at these events. So I am here to say that you can cosplay without having all of the skill. Just being able to find and thrift is good enough. Just have fun with whatever you do.
this is a dress I bought from Target that I added yellow stuff to and a bunch of embroidery floss to make Sarah from Dragon Age. So
So
you don't always have to make things from scratch. You can. I do a lot of just finding things and altering because sometimes it just really doesn't make sense to make something.
right. Yeah. No, and it seems to me that you want to make good friends with a glue gun.
Yes.
What are some other kind
Sewing
of
machine, Cricut.
Yeah, right. Well, so let's say I'm just starting out. And full disclosure, I'm not a cosplayer, but I have many costumes. Halloween is, sort of my Christmas, and so I've hot glued many a weird wig to another wig in the creation of some kind of mega wig. And but talk to me about sort of what are the basic supplies that a person would need to sort of cover their bases if they're going to go out and sort of grab stuff or take stock of what they have at home.
And Kate, please tell him that gravy is not included in most cosplays.
That's
I
next
mean,
level.
look, this is when I go into original character territory. I love original characters, and you can make those anything you want. So I am not going to discourage. No, gravy is not part of most cosplays, but if you want it to be, you make your gravy original character. And
Fresh
She's not
fully
going to put it in
gravy.
your shoes. It's my shoes I'm worried about.
But only if you've been a good boy.
I'm
That's when
always
you get the
good.
gravy. Anyway, so let's talk about that. Troy's okay. We're not gonna whatever. What a gravy merkin. I don't even know what you're talking about. American, I mean, I don't even know what's happening. Ignore these chat ne'er do wells. And let's talk about supplies. What when you're looking across your vast collection of bins, I'm imagining.
Oh,
Mhm.
What do you
mhm.
got? What are the
Oh,
things that people
you
need to? I
mean
knew it. Look
you
at
mean
that.
Yeah.
I know.
collection of
I
bins?
can. I think I like. I have in the background that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was gonna say, is the first supply to buy a lot of plastic totes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like first bins and storage. I feel like the two of us could do a whole thing on just storage
Hmm.
of cosplays.
I'd watch that for sure.
I
That'd
I
be
understand. I understand the tackle box is an unexpected cosplay
Mm.
accessory as far
I
as
should
that
get one of
goes.
those.
All right, so you've got let's lay it out. So of course you need a glue gun. Now, can you just use regular glue gun sticks? Or do you have to get
Depends on
something
the fabric.
special?
Yeah,
Okay.
it depends on what you're using it for. There's a brand that my brain is
That's
breaking
okay.
on right now. Um, but they actually do make specifically hot glue for cosplay now.
Ooh.
I'm sure if you Google it, it'll come up. Um,
You know what we'll do
but
is we'll put a little list together of recommended stuff that we'll just
yeah,
publish with the list. Yeah.
um,
Okay, nice.
get
And what else?
a even if you're not going to be making things entirely from scratch, it is a good idea to have a sewing machine. You don't need anything fancy.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't suggest the gray line of Singer heavy duties because they're not. Um,
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
see.
so I have a Singer and I love Singer. It's just that line specifically. Don't use them. Any
Huh.
of the other ones, like even just like a basic Singer or a Brother, um, it's good to just have, and you can usually get them pretty cheap. For like just a basic one. Or if you prefer to hand sew, just needles and thread. Um,
Got you.
foam. Uh,
Mm.
you can either buy rolls of EVA foam or go get floor mats from Home Depot or your floor mat giver of choice. Um,
Having
Your purveyor
having
of
a
fine
3D
formats.
printer, having a 3D printer, having a friend with a 3D printer opens up a lot of possibilities too. There you go. Most
Hmm.
printer. That's a really awesome way to make props, and there's a lot of people who have already made a lot of the files, STL files
mhm.
for a lot of props you'd be looking for anyway. You can also custom make things if you have that know-how. The person who helps me make my props, he's my cousin-in-law, and he has also done a full suit of Halo armor out
Ooh.
of
Impressive.
3D printed. So he's
Yep.
very intense and very cool with the way that he does that. But
I
yeah,
just
that's
bought this
another
3D
really cool
printer
one.
and I live on Thingiverse just finding all sorts of
Yeah.
things to print.
Okay, so it sounds to me like there's an opportunity for folks. Maybe let's say you're brand new, you're going to do it for the first time, which everybody in chat's going to do, especially you, Nate. And they're gonna pick sort of how do you go about selecting the kind of hero or the kind of so in this world we're talking about superheroes or villains. Um, are there some markers or things that you should pay attention to, or even things that if you see it you go, oh, that'd be cool, and you're like, it might look cool, but word to the wise as you're kind of picking out those heroes.
To cosplay?
I just I choose who I relate to or who I just really love.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's some characters where I see a design and I go, I want to figure out how to make that. It's whatever scratches the itch in your brain.
Got you. That makes sense. Okay,
Hmm.
I dig it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest thing is just find a look in a character that you like. And for me, it's not pressuring myself to be screen accurate. I really admire people who do screen accurate looks, but that's not in my own skill set. So it's how can I adapt it to be something that looks like what the character wears, what the character would wear, but isn't. So there's Disney has something called Disney bounding, where you do something that's not a canon
Awesome.
look, but what the character might wear more modern day or in a different time era. Like, what does this princess look like in the 50s? And I think that
Mhm.
that idea of bounding is a really accessible way to start cosplaying, and how I started a lot of my own cosplay. I'm seeing Amulet Faye in chat. Don't forget, closet cosplay is also very valid. Yes,
Yep.
my first Scarlet Witch was like taking a red leather jacket that I already owned that I use for Marley now on Superhero Shenanigans on Don't Kill My Character. Wink.
Thrift
And
stores are your
in
best
like,
friend.
yes, just start with whatever you have. So when you were asking the question about what are the most valuable items for a cosplayer to keep, for me, it's not even the tools to make things. For me, it's just a variety of different accessories and outfits and pieces. And I mean, it drives people crazy because I will never get rid of anything because I might need it for a cosplay in the future. If it fits
Right.
me and it's not completely falling apart, because if it is falling apart, I can still do something with that. I'm going to keep it. And I've just developed this closet full of different pieces and accessories that I can combine to do the looks that I'm looking for. So I
Nice.
think that what you're really looking for is a character in a design that you love, and then figure out how to make it in a way that suits you and what you have on hand or what you're able to acquire or what you're able to make. And keep in mind that whatever your first wear of the character is, it's only going to grow from there. Give yourself room to adapt and edit and grow and improve it every time you wear it.
I love
Mhm.
that. Well, let's pause for just a moment because I want to crack open the lexicon of cosplay so that we can
Yeah.
kind of. So we talked about a few interesting concepts, but the closet cosplay, and
Mhm.
let's just kind of let's share some things that people might need to know as far as the lingo goes.
Yeah.
So closet
So,
cosplay. Oh, sorry.
no, take it away. You got this.
Closet cosplay is it's what Kate said. It's like taking what fits what the character would wear, or it's putting together like an outfit, either from your own clothes, or if you go to the thrift store and you find things that the character would like or would wear. Um, like I do a couple My Hero Academia characters, and I don't think I think I've done like one canon look.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's just, oh, that character would really like that. I'm gonna wear that.
Clever.
Yeah.
I really
So
like that.
closet cosplay is taking things you already own or things that are more modern wear that still fit the essence of the character. So one of the most delightful things for me in cosplay is that, like, not being screen accurate, being interpretive, where someone can look at me and say, "Oh, you're this character. I love
Mhm.
this unique look that you did." And there's so many cosplayers that take different characters and add in elements of their own culture and their own interests and their own like
Mhm.
favorite period of history into the character's outfit. Or, I mean, something that Melissa and I did together at KatsuCon last year was taking the Critical Role characters, and we were cosplaying the Critical Role Mighty Nine characters, cosplaying Rocky Horror Picture Show characters,
Yep.
which is wild, and it was
That's some real
fabulous and
culture
great.
jam in there. I love it. I love it.
It was
Which
incredible. So yeah, it's doing things like that where it's recognizable as the character, but it's very much your own.
I
it
dig that.
started as a joke and then it happened, and that
Oh
was some of
yeah.
the most fun I've ever had.
I'll say some of the best
I
ideas on this program come from a joke, and
Indeed, I
then
was just gonna say.
and then the
Claude
horse goes to
knows
the
so
barn.
well that you cannot joke around me, because if your joke is an idea that I love, I'm going to use what Troy described as my superpowers and make it happen. Like, I'm not going to let that sit. It's got to happen. Poor Claude, anytime he tells a joke at all about a show he wants to run, I'm like, but
Do it.
so now you're going to do that, right? You're going to do that on Don't Kill My Character, right?
Yeah, and Kate, I got to tell you, we love Claude. He is such a wit that I mean, he'll have us just rolling, with his little quips and things. Speaking of, I know that this is a particular of particular importance to Claude, and that would be this thing that I'm going to share in just a moment. Here we
Okay.
go. Let me go to it.
Also, anyone looking for the pictures, oh, I know this one. Anyone looking for
Oh,
the
Bowman.
pictures from the Critical Role Rocky Horror mashup, you can find that on my social media.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can drop it in the Atomic Think Tank afterwards. Someone remind me
lovely.
to do that, and I will do that.
Fantastic. I love that. Okay, so here we go. This is Bowman is a favorite. And I thought we'd kind of warm up a little bit with someone we know. Looking at what he's got here, and let's say I want to, as a fan, I want to really get into it. There's a couple red flaggy kind of things here that we've got to contend with. The bow and arrow. Because if you're taking cosplay, like you can't really take a weapon in,
Not
right?
actual weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's
you
start
can
there.
have a bow at a con. It
Right.
just has to be unstrung.
Ah, I
Or
see.
with really low tensile thread. So what I do with my
With
Vexalia
a
bow
piece of
is, yeah, it's like you could not do anything with
Actually
that thread
draw it.
firing
Yeah.
an arrow. Exactly. Like it is very, very loose.
Come back.
you stick like a piece of yarn in there or whatever. It goes for even like firearms for cosplay, for firearm props. They cannot be functional.
Mhm.
So you
I
can
see.
repaint a Nerf gun. You just have to disable the trigger and make it not be able to fire anything.
I see. Okay. I don't know why that's disappeared. I'm going to fix that here in just a second. Let's see if they did
So
it.
yeah, got it. So
You
yes,
can see
so
the image?
as if you're
Yep.
yeah, we can see
Yeah,
the
we
image.
can see
So
the
if you're
image.
looking to bring,
Okay.
and I also have a quiver with me when I'm Vexalia at cons, but the
Ah,
arrows are all untipped. So I have
Yep.
them wrapped together in the quiver, and if you were to take them out, all the tips were taken off those arrows. So you can absolutely bring prop weapons to conventions. Just make sure that you are always reading the convention's rules for prop weapons, because every
Yeah.
convention center is
Mhm.
going to have rules that are a bit different. And if you're ever doing a photo shoot on site somewhere, just make sure that you are communicating with, whoever owns that space with what their rules are for,
yeah.
Yeah.
like
Oftentimes they'll
weapons
have
and
like a
prop
place
weapons on site.
for you to
And
tag
most
your
cons
weapon.
will have a prop check where you can go and
Yeah.
make sure that everything's a-okay.
And then
Nice.
they'll give
Okay.
you a tag that your item has been weapon checked and is good to go.
Mhm.
That's right. Okay, so wonderful. We've got our weapon checked. We know that we figured out what we need to do at that particular con. Now let's take a look at the rest of this outfit. Like what? First of all, that pose. I'm not. He's given some thigh. But what are the components that you immediately kind of identify? You want me to make it a
So
little
for
bigger?
me,
I'm not
not
even
wanting,
like
like,
that.
for me, because I don't go for perfectly screen accurate. I go for, how do I get this character to be recognizable? So the first
Sure.
thing that I'm looking at is the color scheme here. So I'm going to want to
Oh,
stay close to those colors, because that is something that is very big for this character. Then I'm looking at, what are kind of the big major pieces that I would want to hit on. Different cons of different rules about masks, but I feel like I would, want something like the kind of mask head wrap this character has. I would definitely want that flowy element of the cape. It almost looks like a cape shirt,
Yeah,
cape
more of a
skirt thing
tunic,
going
really.
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind
It
of a
looks like
tunic.
a
Yeah.
flowy tabard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tabard
Yeah.
would be a good word.
Yeah, but I'm going for like the colors of it, getting the, fitted elements, and then the flowy tabard bit. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it off to Melissa though, because you can speak to actually building the things.
I kind of the same thing. Like you go for the vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think,
So
yeah.
usually the first thing I do, if I am making something from scratch and if I am trying to make it um look more screen accurate, if I'm going for that, is that I rest in peace Joanne's. I'll go to Joanne's and I'll look through their pattern books and go, okay, what kind of has the shapes that I need to start off with and base it from. And that's if I'm sewing it.
Mhm.
Right, right. Well, so
Um
here's a question for both of
So
you. I'm asking
yeah.
for a friend. There's these muscles here. How do you, when you're not muscly, how do you contend with the fact that you're dressed up as somebody who's got maybe a couple muscles?
you don't
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
nice. I
your
love it.
body is your own. And I've seen people who have taken cosplay as their motivation to work out because they want muscles to match their characters. But for me, like the body that I have is the body that I have, and I am pretty small and pretty short, and that's not changing. And that's something that like that's not part of the cosplay for me. The
Mm-hmm.
cosplay is what I put on my body, not my body itself.
And an important message,
So
honestly, it doesn't. So it means
Yeah.
that you can wear the costume, you can do the cosplay, regardless of how you're coming,
Yeah.
showing up to the party.
absolutely,
So I'm
absolutely.
plus size, and there's not a lot of good plus size characters out there.
Right. Right.
So I want to cosplay this character that's 2 pounds soaking wet. Well, that's still fine
Right.
because I'm wearing the character because I want to, and because it's not. I don't have to be the fat version of the character. I'm just the character,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So-
like how to have a swimsuit body is put a swimsuit on your body.
And there you
You
go.
don't have to have like a specific body shape or size. Anybody
Mhm.
can cosplay. Anybody can do it. The most important thing about cosplay is at the end of the day, you're having fun, and we're
Right.
all
Yeah.
just
Okay.
we're all just
Mhm.
nerds.
I love
And you
that. So
can-
embrace
yeah.
your nerddom in whatever shape it comes in, and get into that costume and enjoy it. See, you took a quip and a joke and turned it into a teachable moment, and I love
Mhm.
that.
That's
I
one
Yep.
of
love
the things
that.
I love about
Me too.
cosplay, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the cosplay community as well. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
very much so.
that's really the engine that allows for this expression to sort of flourish, and I love that. Here's another
Yeah.
character. We're gonna do a couple of these, and then we're gonna jump into the
I
tag.
do have
Centuria.
one Bowman question.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The most important part of Bowman is the bow squint, in my opinion. The sort of the Batman the Animated
Yeah.
Series white eyes. How do you make that happen? Sort of like the Spider-Man eye.
Sure.
So there is some fabrics out there that are like a mesh that you can see through. You can't see through it like super
Can't see through it
super
well.
well. You're not gonna have 20/20 vision, but there is it's like scrim fabric kind of where like
Mhm.
you can see through it. And you just put that in the mask in the eye holes.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And I would also say, like, for me looking at this, I would probably take like a kind of similar approach to how I did Shigo when I was in college. Like, I would go with a gold bodysuit and then
Mhm.
layer like this kind of darker smoky blue things on top of it to bring that color in.
Yeah.
Would be
Nice.
my cheat around.
Excellent. Okay, so that was great. Great question, Alex. So here we go. Now, who is? Let's explain who Centuria is.
Yeah.
Alex, you
Well,
want to take
this
this
is
one?
the Untold Stories project, Centuria,
Centuria,
that you've
exactly.
tracked down, Troy. Centuria is the sole survivor of another dimension that fell into darkness and is sort of a general superpowered awesome chick who wants to beat up all the people who want to ruin the world she lives in now.
Got you. Now,
I love
I
her.
like this character. And I happen to have to pull it out of Google because my other computer crashed, and so we're doing this all fresh.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
that's wonderful that it comes from the Untold Story project. This version. How would we cosplay
Yeah,
this?
and that action figure it hosts the spirit of her dead husband and talks to her
Aw.
sometimes.
Lovely.
Oh, if that's
Because
not my
Alex.
flavor.
Yep,
Because
that
Alex,
is-
exactly. Because Alex,
We
yeah,
bring the drama. We bring the sad roleplay moments. I love this.
exactly. This particular incarnation of this character is pretty. It's simple, but also it speaks volumes. There's
Mhm.
some neat stuff going on here. How would you go about doing this?
For me, one of the toughest parts of this is the wig that would be required because you have to do an undercut on it. But I know SgtStrawberry has dealt with that.
So there are undercut wigs that do exist. They are hard to keep in stock. So finding that is not easy. Thankfully I have it right here.
Yes.
So I did a character with an undercut back in September, and I was not able to procure an undercut wig for it, so I made my own.
Oh,
If you can't make your whatever the store bought is fine quote.
sure.
Right.
And also,
So
when
I bought.
buying wigs online at all, I feel like any costume piece, any wig, my biggest piece of advice is read the reviews. The reviews are
Mm.
going to tell you a lot about the quality.
Ah, nice.
I bought a wig and I cut half of it out, and then I made that half of the wig that I cut out. I made the base of it in felt, and I used the hair that I cut out to glue that to that piece of felt, and then I glued it back into the wig,
Mm-hmm.
so it would create an undercut, which
Wow.
I can't show very well here, but trust me, it works.
We'll put
Yeah.
it in the atomic think tank later.
Yeah.
The atomic think tank,
absolutely,
for people who
absolutely.
aren't watching right now, they're going to be so
Exactly.
confused why they get a slew of cosplay photos in there in about an hour.
Listen, our friends, they are prepared for anything, any
Incredible.
eventuality, for sure. Okay, great. So let me pull that back up. And for some reason, I
I think
can't see, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we can
Uh,
see it. But I think
great.
another piece that like I get to talk about here now is like bringing in props that are important to the characters to your cosplay. So
Okay.
I would
Mm.
absolutely want to have that little action figure cosplaying this character. And I love having props. I think that also when you're talking about doing photo shoots, especially if you're newer to it, it really helps to have props because there's always that issue of what do I do with my hands in photos. So
Yeah.
having the weapon to pose with, having this action figure to pose with really gives you a lot more to work with. So I absolutely encourage, if you're doing a cosplay for a character, think about what items are important to them that you can have on you. It'll help you with posing photos and with connecting to the character. So I think that action figure is a very important part of this cosplay.
Very
And then
interesting.
looking at the cosplay, I
Yeah.
mean, this for me, like, that's a pair of leggings that I could find. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the exact right color, I could dye them, especially because you're going to want it to match that shirt. It could also be a bodysuit. We Love Colors is a very common place to go for bodysuits. And then you can make sure you have top and bottom matching there. And then you get to work with armor over it,
Mm.
which, I mean, like, yeah, EVA foam is pretty classic way to go for armor, but I'm gonna pass this off to Melissa because Melissa has more experience armor than I do.
No, I do not.
I mean, more experience than I do, though.
I have
You did
not made
Orem.
much in the way of armor. That was a piece of pleather. I am starting soon for a con I'm doing next month. I'm putting together armor, but it's Fallout armor, so it's made out of junk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And for that, what I got, I buy things that exist. So I bought like knee pads and shin pads, and I'm going to cover them in license plates.
Okay.
But
I love that.
as far as armor, I'm not great at doing it, but what you're gonna want is EVA foam, a sharp knife, be careful, and
She's gonna carve
contact
into
cement
it.
in a well-ventilated space.
So in this
Yeah, that's
world,
the
I
big
mean,
thing.
are
It's
you buying most of your stuff from Amazon?
So most of the EVA foam I have is actually from Michaels.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
great.
Michaels used to have a whole dedicated cosplay section. Most of them don't anymore, but they do still sell EVA foam, some of them. So just check if your local, like, you can check stock online to see if your local Michaels has it,
Mm-hmm.
but they sell rolls of it in varying degrees of thickness. And YouTube is an absolutely wonderful resource
Ah, yeah,
for
Yeah.
figuring out how things work.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
people will make like all sorts of tutorials online on how to make things.
Yeah.
Some
You
of them
can
even have like links to patterns. So like I
Okay.
made a ghost band ghoul helmet out of EVA foam, and that was a mix of a pattern I got on Etsy and an Evil Ted Voltron helmet pattern.
Yeah. So definitely like meshing patterns together is a really good way to do it. I think that for me, because I don't do a lot of armored looks on purpose. But
Mhm.
I'm looking at this character and I'm thinking, what is she wearing to like masquerade ball? Like, what is she wearing
Mm.
to
Yeah.
dinner party? Like, I want to see her. And like, I actually do a lot of my queen characters in pantsuits because I love
Mhm.
dresses so much. But if you're ruling a kingdom, you're not going to do it in a dress, or that's
Right.
just my character's choice. But like, is she wearing like a pantsuit or a dress or a ball gown? Because I do love ball gowns, to like some dinner event. And then I would go in there and
Right.
be like, okay, so I want to have blue, I want to have the gold element, I want to have something like this white cape. Looking at that white cape too, it's like, well, to me, that's, you know, you take the fabric, you cut it up, and you don't have to worry about destroying the fabric because that's the point. One
Mhm.
of the scariest things to do for me is like weather destroy, keep going with that. Just I remember I did keyleth as a fish, if you know, you know.
Mhm.
And adding so many, I got another pair of antlers and added all these shells onto them. And I was like, less is more, but also more is more. And I'm just gonna keep adding, keep adding. And I'd like try them on and be like, okay, it's not too heavy to sit on my head. I can keep going and just keep going. Or when I did Not or Veth as Columbia for Critical Role Mighty Nine as Rocky Horror, and I did this corset that was just rainbow buttons on a corset, and I was just kept adding the buttons on, and I was like, this looks ridiculous. And I kept asking people, does this look ridiculous? And they're like, yeah, but that's the point, right? And
Right.
it's like, just keep going, and everything always looks different once you have it all on with the wig, with the makeup.
Yeah.
So I
And something
feel
to
like,
remember. You go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to say
yeah, it's
something to
just
remember too. I'm
don't.
imagining when you got that stuff on your head, like it feels fine for a minute, but then you have to think about wearing that all day long, right? Like
Yeah.
some
Okay,
considerations for
wig safety. Yeah, so there's
yeah.
these silk bands you can put on to avoid the wig headache. I think that's been a lifesaver, making sure that you are hydrated throughout the day, like sit down, take breaks. One of the things that I say at conventions a lot is it takes a lot of energy just to exist. Period. It
Yeah.
takes even more energy to exist at convention, even more to exist at convention in cosplay with a wig, in cosplay with face paint. You will never
If
see
it
me at
hurts, take it off.
conventions. Yeah, you'll never see me at conventions in face paint these days because I know those are events that I need to run around at, and I'm trying to
Mhm.
do a lot, and I cannot do as much or enjoy as much if I'm in face paint or
Or
if I'm
sneak
in
and breathe. Yeah.
uncomfortable outfits. So put yourself and your comfort first. If you are not comfortable in an outfit, take the things off. I often carry another pair of shoes with me, and I have my heels that I wear in photos, and I have my sneakers that I run around like a little gremlin in.
Right.
So
Right.
comfort is so key,
So
especially if
listen.
you're trying to exist in these at a con or climb a mountain
Oh
to get
yeah.
that photo shoot that you really want. I have climbed in outfits that are so not meant for climbing, and I will keep doing it because I love
I
it. But
I,
make sure
I
you're
hiked
safe.
the
Make sure you're
mountain
safe.
as Percy, and it was a bad idea.
All right. I love this
Hey,
cosplay
Troy,
hiking.
Oh
What
my
was that?
gosh, cosplay hiking.
we've got a question from a Pook about a vacuum form table, which our guests may know.
I have never used one. I cannot afford one.
Wow. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I.
For those of us who are not familiar, what is that?
What is that? Yeah.
It's like a pliable um plastic, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes on like this table, and it uses like a vacuum to then pull that fabric, or not fabric, that plastic down onto whatever you're molding it onto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as it vacuums, it hardens.
Mm.
So it's how a lot of like stormtrooper armor and helmets is made.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have access to that.
That sounds like a pretty technical piece of equipment.
It
Yeah.
is, and I do
Nice.
not.
Well, so
So
here's
this
friends, real
is where
quick.
I send.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Go, please go for it.
Well, this is where I send people back to YouTube. Like when I wanted to make wings for my Tinkerbell because I wanted huge wings that I can't wear to conventions because they're too big to walk around in. I went to YouTube and I looked up how to make fairy wings, how to make Tinkerbell wings, and watched and learned from all the different strategies people used, and then found the one that worked for me. So definitely YouTube tutorials that's been thrown around in the chat a lot, finding
Mm-hmm.
books, finding patterns, asking other cosplayers, being like, hey, I see that you did this cosplay and I really like it. I'm trying to do something similar. Do you have any tips for me? And depending on the cosplayer, they may or may not be able to offer that help to you. But as a whole, I think that this is a community that really does want to help each other. So
Yeah.
reach out and be like, where did you get this? How did you do this? I will always send, links to the video that I watched or the item that I bought if if it has a link to it and I didn't just thrift it.
Cosplay is so ubiquitous right now, and it has been developing as a community for so long that you name it, and you'll be able to find somebody who has tried to cosplay it or has some hints and tips around some of the very specific, like for instance, anime wigs. There's a whole series of people who are just doing incredible things with wigs that are really actually pretty manageable. I mean, like something that people can really, you just need about 40 cans of Aquanet Extra Super. And
not to be glue spray is like
yes, that's what I've used. Yeah, yeah.
Got to be it's what I have on my wig.
Like the best hairspray to use for wig working.
I guess I do a little bit, maybe a tiny bit of cosplay every Christmas for the holiday season. I do a fundraiser for some folks here in Seattle, and I dress up as Ms. Claus, divorcee of Santa, and I take pictures with everybody's kids and their dogs and things, and then we raise money. It's really fun. It's very upsetting. I won't share the picture because I don't need to do that to people. But even if you do something small like that, I have so many Christmas wigs. I just had no idea. Everyone's like, "What are you doing with this?" I'm like, "Wouldn't you like to know?" So here's a problem that I have. I would love to be able to cosplay more time because we haven't even gotten to the think tank, and we've got so much more to kind of talk about.
We can speed run.
Yeah, you think so? Let me
speed run.
I'm going to pull up some of these. I do want to say that one of the things I just wanted to bring this up and get your thoughts on it. One second is the hero pose. Like that's about 90% of the work, right? Like if you look
that's
at
the play part of cosplay.
like this,
yeah,
that's a speedster. Everyone loves a speedster in our community. They're just big fans of speedsters. But this is Johnny Rocket, and like I could, to practice that iconic whatever it is you're doing, whether it's the hero sort of landing, punch the ground,
the 3-point hero landing.
I mean,
that's right.
Practice in front of a full-length mirror. Like also the faces that you want in the photos, like practice your faces up close, practice the poses. When I first started doing photo shoots, I would have a Pinterest board full of poses. So when I reached a dead space between me and the photographer, what do I want to do next? I could pull up that board and say, I want to do this one. And they can look at me and help me get into the pose. So save photos of poses that you like, practice the poses, practice the faces in a mirror.
Because you'll look at a picture later and you'll go, that pose is doing 90% of the work and it looks good. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's great stuff. And a cheap edition.
I got to imagine that you've got to be careful to plan in advance that your cosplay can carry out the poses.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's valid too. Practice posing in the actual cosplay.
Right, absolutely. Just see if there are any tension spots that you might want to tend to. I will say this. Maybe don't use low temp hot glue in the summertime.
Yeah.
I'm just not that I've had personal experience of things kind of melting and looking weird. But I do. Okay, so let me jump real fast. Let's do that.
And also on that one,
doesn't fall apart at a con at least once, you're not in cosplay.
Fair enough.
But to that point, a lot of cons have dedicated cosplay repair areas, or there will just be that like cosplay repair vigilante paladin who takes it upon themselves to be like, hey, I'm set up here and I have these supplies on me. So try to have your own fix-it supplies. But if you don't, there's probably people around who will.
A real quick question. So one of the things that people often are looking for is a hook or a way to sort of be their cosplay and to engage in it. What's some advice that you have about when you are, let's say you are one of the Spider-Men and you see 3 other Spider-Men, like, what are some of the rules of the road?
Engage with other cosplayers.
Yep.
Like, go to the meetups, do the poses. Like, I'm so glad that you used Spider-Man as the example because that Spider-Man pose has become for like all cosplayers. If you see someone else in a cosplay that goes with your character or just one that you like, talk to each other, take photos together. Like that's what makes it so much fun, is getting to exist in cosplay with other people who love the characters.
And honestly, people are wearing the costume because they want to be with people wearing costumes and have their
Mhm.
pictures taken, and But you of course want to ask and you want to be respectful and all that good stuff.
course.
But
Yeah.
now, all right. So let me get
Yeah,
this.
cosplay
I
is
love a
not
Deadpool
consent.
conga line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. The Deadpool has really sort of opened a whole sort of fun avenue of people who maybe wouldn't have cosplayed otherwise.
Deadpool has been an awakening for many people on many levels.
Right. That's
Mhm.
exactly right. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to share this. It's our very first submission to the tank, and we've got about exactly 0 minutes. And so,
Incredible.
but I do want to share this. All right, so this is so Chris Davies put this together, and it's Dr. Jubal Wiley. The reason I thought this was kind of cool is that it really leans into more makeup and less costumery. Really. Let's see.
Yeah, that
Human
feels like
coloring.
vibes and face paint to me, Troy.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
Not a lot of hot glue necessary. When it comes to the face paint stuff, what should people be? What kind of kit should people pick up?
I'm gonna let you speak to this, Melissa, with the scar makeup and the face paint. Like, you've got this.
So, for face paint, most people go to the Meron brand. That one works. Honestly, order like different ones and see what cooperates with your skin, and always do a
Okay.
patch test first, just to
Mhm.
make sure you're not allergic to it.
Gotcha.
For SFX makeup, I watch a lot of tutorials on YouTube. There's this character I do from a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale, and he is covered in blood.
Mhm.
So I go on, there's a YouTube called Ellie Max that does a lot of really, really fantastic SFX makeup, and I'll like pick and choose bits and pieces from that on how to do like blood or scars or things like that. So this guy doesn't really look like he used paint. It's more just like you need a light foundation to make yourself, or some powder to
Yeah.
make yourself like really just that pasty
Mhm.
thing, maybe a little sickly, so maybe a little green.
Like that.
Contouring will go a long way.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
also accentuate sort of age lines and sort of
Yep.
really inhibit your fun. And yeah, okay. I like that a lot. And so,
And if you need to do age lines, scrunch up your face, like all areas of your face, take
Yep.
focus on scrunching your forehead, scrunch your cheeks, then take
then
like an eyeliner pencil and draw
eyeshadow, yeah.
into those, and draw into those creases, and then you're gonna have old person makeup.
I
Back
love
when
that.
Kate was a
Also,
teacher in 100th Day of School, that's how I did my 100th Day of School makeup.
I'm just saying.
good
Some of
scoop,
us
it
don't
is
need
Kevin.
age lines. There we go. Sorry. Let me switch back to. Whoops. All right, I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to pull up just a couple more. We'll give some bonus minutes because we were a little late.
We started, yeah.
Yeah. Let me find another. And so as we're doing that too, you mentioned a brand name and I lost the mention. I'm just trying to.
Mayron, probably for
Mayron?
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Mayron for face paint. That's also been my go-to for the few times that I've done face paint.
If you're
Absolutely.
listening or watching on demand, friends, make sure you stop by the live chat and kind of see what folks are saying because there's some great suggestions in there as well.
I use Mayron, I use Tag, and I use Snazaroo, but I use it in a specific way. It depends what brand has the shade you need and what brand cooperates with your skin.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely always test, makeups, cosplays, and anything you're doing with that. Like we're talking about using different glues, test different glues on the fabrics, before you commit to it on a very visible part. Just always do those little tests for whatever you're doing.
I love that. So here's the next one up, and this is here we go. Helen Jack. It's Moran, I'm betting.
Ooh.
Moran. But see the classic kind of character.
Okay. For this
Yeah.
one, I'm like, talk to Borderlands cosplayers, because Borderlands cosplayers will do that like shell shading part of their costumes if you want to
And they
match this
do it
artwork. Like
so
you
good.
can fully cosplay the like closet cosplay this character, just get the button up shirt, get the jacket that looks close. This would be a very easy closet cosplay. But if you want to add that shell shading, Borderlands cosplayers are your best friend for that. They do that as part of the
Cool.
makeup, and they will add it to the clothes to make it look like they just stepped out of the video game.
I absolutely love it, because I was thinking, how can we do the, sort of the classic sort of, then I didn't even think about the art style. You could be really mimicking how they
Yeah.
appear. I love that. That is a great idea. And then other thoughts? Do we feel like we kind of covered that one? I mean, is this a wig you think someone needs to pick up?
Depends on their hair, I imagine.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah, it
ways
depends
you
on
can
the
style
hair.
your own hair.
Gotcha.
I've put like temporary spray into friends' hairs before who didn't want to wear a wig. You can spray in gel to get close enough. Again, it's your comfort. If you don't want to wear a wig, do what you can with your own hair.
So Kate the Great, you mentioned in chat to steal your own seal. Sorry, that's not the seal. Right.
Don't steal your
what
own
is-
makeup.
Let's talk about what sealant means. Like, it's kind of the finishing spray. Kind of what is that?
Yeah, so especially when it comes to face paint, but also just so you get the longevity, you want to use sealing spray, sealing powder over your makeup to make sure that it lasts, make sure you're not getting the rub off of your face paint. So it's usually going to be a bit of back and forth where you'll powder spray. When you're doing face paint, you also want to like bake that and do layer by layer. Melissa can absolutely speak more to the face paint because she's done it more recently than me. But that's how you'll, even if you're not doing a very intense face paint look, you still want your makeup to last a full day at a con where you're going to be sweaty and you might rub your face. So having those sealing products, sealing powder, and sealing spray is going to give you that longevity.
Mayron makes a great powder that's like color seal powder. My go-to setting spray that I use for SFX makeup, that I use for regular makeup, that I use for anything that is on my face, I use Urban Decay All Nighter. That stuff will make your makeup stay all day.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Let me share a couple more. Where did you go? So this is the character's Lunar Enchantress, and this is by Steinbrewer.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this.
It's
Do we have a picture?
To Moon Princess.
Oh,
now, I love that, very evocative, and it seems to me like you could really have some fun with this pose as part of the action of it, right? Like, how would you, like, if you wanted to sort of walk around and be able to kind of take that pose with the fingers and all that stuff, how would you handle the hair and all that?
I mean, for me, I'm thinking this is where you want to work with a photographer that knows how to do, special effects in the photography so that they can do that background removal and get you like the magic effects that are happening behind with the arcane and edit those backgrounds in. So working with a good photographer can make all the difference. They can also help you with your posing and with your faces and help you adjust. But I mean, walking around a con, you're going to be existing in your own skin, in your own body. You're not always going to be walking around posed. But if someone's like, hey, can you take a photo? I'm not going to, sit down on the floor or something for it. But what I would probably do is practice like the hands, make sure that I have good magic hands, which I have to do all the time for Scarlet Witch. And I mean, if you want to do something where the wig is just always kind of out there, that's when you pull out the got to be glued hairspray.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, it comes in a big yellow can, and it glues. I love that. Okay, great. And so really, you could get away with that hair if you wanted to kind of, how would you put something? Would you put a sigil behind your back? How would you craft that? Would you use like EL wire, or what would that look like?
That would be a big piece. You'd need some sort of brace on your back to hold. You can do that in a variety of ways. You can use you can just make a big thing and paint it. You can do it with wire. You can do it with it. It's really all depends on what you want it to look like.
Gotcha. And what you're willing to kind of, lug around.
Yeah,
So
it's right. What you are able to do.
Because also, the bigger cosplay that you have, the less mobile you're going to be. So if
Yep.
you want to be able to walk the vendors hall or really most places at a convention, you're not going
Don't
to
do it in
want
that.
that big piece behind you. This would be more of something to wear just for photo shoots. So I talked about
Gotcha.
making my giant Tinkerbell wings. I
Yeah.
have a smaller pair that I wear to conventions. I did Seraphim. It was part of a KDA group from League of Legends, based on their like more music video. And part of that cosplay was like actually the costume that I bought came with a kit to make her diamond pieces that go behind her back. And I spent so much time making those pieces. Then the first day at that con, I was like, there is no way I will have enough room to walk around with
There
that
we
sticking.
go.
So I didn't wear it. I didn't use it. So just being conscious of, is this for a shoot where you have a lot of room, or is this to exist at a convention, in which case less is more.
Love that. Now, so there is the sort of Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, kind of magic fingers. How do you what do you use to kind of pull that off?
I've seen, I mean, when it comes to Scarlet Witch, and a lot of other characters, people will do like the black makeup kind of drippy dippy things on the ends of their fingers to get that effect. I've seen a lot of Doctor Strange cosplayers who will have those spinny light up pieces that create the magic sigils. Those are so cool. I've seen a lot of Scarlet Witches too have the book on fishing wire, so that they can like have the book dangling between their fingers and it looks like it's floating. There's so many fun ways to do it. I mean,
I've done
Melissa,
tarot
yeah,
cards on fishing wire for Molly
yeah.
Monk.
hmm
Love that.
Fishing wire is your best friend for having things dangle between your fingers. I know Shigo cosplayers and also Scarlet Witches who have done. I mean, I feel like you might have, maybe you did it for Calcifer, but having like tool or tissue paper or something that you put LED lights in your hand to look like you
Flames.
always have, yeah, like a flame effect.
I had
Very
it was from Spirit Halloween. It was like a flame, a plastic flame that lit up, and it had these two plastic bits that like go under your hand, so it looks like you're holding a flame.
Yeah, I've seen some very
I
cool.
bought that and I
What was
painted
that?
some eyes onto it.
Oh, very, very cool. Cute. The other thing I was going to say too is that I've seen some really interesting stuff be done with box fans and very thin fabric for flame, sort of for photos and stuff. Really cool looking stuff. All right, we're going to do a couple more, and then so here's one. This is by John Tierney. This is Pins and Needles Shisk.
Okay.
Are you seeing
I
that?
am,
I think
yeah,
you
I'm
need to
so in love with
magnify
this look.
some there, Troy.
Me too. Gorgeous, gorgeous, and also
Pokey, very pokey.
okay.
Complex, yeah.
How do you do it?
I mean, what's that character Pinhead? Like people
Oh,
do
yeah.
this. They do this stuff.
They do indeed. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what are we looking at material wise?
Melissa is
That's a lot
analyzing.
of. That's gonna be like finding out how fabric drapes. So that's
Got you.
going to whatever fabric store you can find now.
Right.
We just got the news today that Joann's is closing everything, so
Oh wow! Just today.
sourcing fabric is going to be a lot harder, but you can find it online. I'm a very tactile person who likes to feel things, so
Same. Yeah, same.
a lot of those sites at least do let you order swatches to feel things. But yeah, this is just like getting the colors you need and finding out how it drapes and going from there.
Looking at the spines, and I love I mean, like this is a very, very cool look as far as the way that it's sort of positioned on the body. What would you use to sort of, so it's like kind of almost porcupine quills coming out of their skin?
You can prosate a lot of things to you. I don't know how well they will stay on places of your body that move as much as arms do, however. What I would do is go and find like a mesh shirt. Like you know how people have like those tattoo sleeves.
Right.
Oh sure. Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so you find like that sort of mesh and then find a way to attach the quills to that in maybe a more secure way, either by glue or by sewing if there's a way to get them on there
Oh,
and you
I
attach
know
that to like the mesh shirt or whatever you're using, so you don't have to glue a million things to your own skin.
Right.
foam clay. That's a great idea. That's sort of the really light white moldable foam. That's that could be a nice
I
way to
have
do
a
it.
container of it. I haven't used it yet.
Got you. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. I haven't necessarily picked it, but while I do that, why don't we do this? We'll start with Steve. Steve, tell us what's going on in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe.
Oh gosh, not a whole lot of news to share as far as
Right.
that goes. Our playtest stuff is underway over at Atomic Think Tank. For folks who haven't heard, now we finally have an opportunity for giving our community a chance to get early previews of projects in the works and to get their feedback, which is really a great use of the Atomic Think Tank. And I'm really excited to get folks' initial feedback on our next project. So that's really a great opportunity so far as that goes. And I've been pretty focused on that right now. Um, and other than that, for me, it's been wrapping up stuff for our Expanse Transport Union Edition that is in the works for this year since our crowdfunder, and I did some adventure stuff for that and the like. So looking
So
forward
you've
to
been
that
busy,
so far.
yeah. Lots,
Yeah,
lots going on, and of course, we did tell folks you want to join the Cape and Cow Club because that's how you get into
that's
these
an added
playtests.
opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Thomas, how about you? What's happening, my friend?
Well, Wednesday I'll be back for Freedomly Dark and the Multiverse of the Master Mage as we continue our journey through Batman Beyond Land. We're having fun
Hmm.
with that. Grumpy old Bruce Wayne who laughs. I'm excited for them to meet him. And Thursday, the Titan City Serials podcast will have another episode out. And I'm getting ready for con season and almost done with the book that shall not be named.
And speaking of con season, Jonesy wants me to remind folks that we are looking for game masters to run Mutants and Masterminds games, particularly
We are
at Gen
indeed.
Con.
We are covering that in a greater detail here after the main show. I want to share this one last. Well, it's a team really, but what I like about it, it was a submission from our buddy Paul Rua, and it it's themed. It's got a vibe to it that this almost feels like a mood board. You know what I mean? Like a kind
Mm-hmm.
of something that sort of um, gives you a sense of the woo. Sorry, I just went to crazy. There we go. Um, there is it's got a vibe to it. Um, how would you go about? I, I'm imagining putting a cosplay concept together for a group and having that group kind of work together can be daunting.
I mean, yes. So I think the biggest thing for that is just having a space like a Discord group where you can be updating each other on the plans and what you're doing and making sure that what's happening is cohesive and staying together with it. But when it comes to creating looks based off of like not one set of art, I really do it just like this, where I'll make a Pinterest board or collect my favorite artworks and say, I want, I like this part of this thing and that part of another, and then
Mm-hmm.
just move from there into making it my own. So I think this is kind of my way of starting a cosplay project, is taking all these image inspirations and figuring out how to make it my own costume.
I love the notion too of kind of experimenting with a genre, like a time. Like, this has got a very sort of 60s vibe to it. It's sort of groovy with sort of mom's or grandma's hair, today. But back
Mm-hmm.
in the day, it was pretty hip. So there's probably some styling. What do you think, Sergeant Strawberry?
I just made a Victorian wedding dress, and I did a ton of just Googling, looking up Victorian fashion and Victorian wedding dresses and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I a great way to start is to just gather references and resources of what you want to tell like what your vibes are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I really like this Gone with the Wind style of a ginormously fluffy skirt, or like these details on the shoulders, or like of mutton sleeves, which are the bane of my existence now. But I really wanted them. So a Pinterest board is a great place to start, to just start putting things
Oh,
that
nice.
you
Yeah,
want.
especially if you're working with a group and everyone can kind of do their thing. And there's a couple things that folks have said in chat, which I think is great. First of all, Kate the Great says, the key to collaborating with a group is collaborate with the group.
I believe
Like
you can make
Yeah.
Pinterest boards where multiple people can
you can,
contribute
yeah,
to them.
yeah, absolutely. The other thing I
And like
love that's, oh, sorry,
like
just,
Kate said, like a Discord group is a great place too,
oh, yeah, yeah,
to
that's
just like
fantastic.
throw things.
Yeah, and just kind of share images back and forth. Amulet Faye brings up something that I think is really important. Is that when you're getting ready to do the cosplay thing, I think this is just smart. Is cosplay yourself some patient pants. Wear your patient pants with groups, because yeah, I mean you've got a lot of creative ideas and different visions, and also just how you get there can be a little bit of a challenge itself, but it should be fun, right? Like, isn't the getting
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
and the doing
I
all
know
that?
with our Rocky Horror Mighty Nine group,
Right.
that 100% started as like a joke, and then we went, wait, but what if we did it? And then we I think we made a separate Discord group just to discuss, like,
Hey, we
hey,
found that
what do you
great.
guys think for this? Like, I know I had I did Yasha as Magenta, and I was like, okay, do I go more Magenta style hair, or do I go more Yasha? I The wig I had for Yasha was stark white for a later version of her, and then I decided it would be more noticeable as Yasha if I did the level 1 hair.
Yeah.
And then I did I marker dyed it for like 15 days in a row.
So
But it
talk
has
about
the
marker
ombre that I
dyeing.
want,
What
and
does
I
that
got
mean?
like a Wednesday Adam dress, and I made an apron to like, so it's the like apron design from Magenta,
Right.
but I put Yasha's like Stormlord symbol on the apron. So it's like taking bits from this and bits from that, and just kind of making like a quiche, but it's your cosplay.
A
It's like a
cosplay
casserole.
quiche.
You just kind of throw things into a thing, and it ends up being your thing.
You know what, friends? I've got to tell you that this has been a very delicious casserole that we have baked together. I mean, I appreciate your patience as we're kind of getting all the things in a pile, and the pre-tech stuff. But here's the beauty of all of this is that um, you know what you're talking about. So we don't need all the pictures. It's great to have them, but the stuff that you shared is invaluable. There's some real gems in here, and is it too much to ask that maybe we kind of can I'll put together sort of a summary of this, but to get maybe some thoughts from you on things that we didn't mention, and then also, would you mind coming back sometime so we can kind of dive in and just sort of be our cosplay correspondents?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, yes. I feel bad because I thought this was just our cosplay hour, and I did not realize that Steve and Alex wanted to say things too. I am
Oh
sorry.
yeah, hey, and that's
Quite all
okay.
right.
Yeah, no, we were prepared. We were prepared. You had the mic. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to definitely have to do this again. There are more, and now that I think too that our community is sort of going, oh yeah, oh yeah, I can see some of the sparks flying. We can come at this maybe with some stuff that some heroes or villains that they'd like to do, and sort of help them, make the right decisions as they're putting this stuff together. Alex and Steve, thank you so much for hanging out. Chat, as per usual, you are glorious and lovely and awful, awfully great. And I'm glad that. Thank you for waiting as we got the tech stuff figured out. Yeah, what a great show! This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna release these champions of cosplay, and I'm going to hang out with Devious, and we're gonna talk about what's in the tank, and we'll do that here momentarily. Thank you so much, friends. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops, that's not it. It's been one of those days, my friends. It's been one of those days. The good news is, there we go. I think we got it. Are we back?
Troy, you might have to kick me out. My computer's been frozen the whole stream.
Oh, has it been? All right. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I can do that. Goodbye. There we go. Awesome. You know, what's in the tank is an opportunity for us to hang out with my dear friend. There we go. You can hear me now.
Oh dear, here we are.
Are you okay, Devious? Are you
Yeah,
okay?
I heard everything went dead, so I was like, oh no. What
No, don't
happened?
worry. Yeah, you know, we are flying by the seat of our pants today, primarily
Yes, sir.
because my whole computer crashed and I had to replace it with a different computer. But we did it.
Excellent. With
Claude, see you later. Goodbye, friends. Thank you all for your patience as we kind of figured all this stuff out.
so
But
you rebuilt your computer with baling wire and chewing gum, and
you know, I just took some hot glue and
there you go.
I got
That's
an
all you
old
need.
wig and I cosplayed a whole machine. And I wish I would have waited until I'd heard our guests. Weren't they phenomenal?
Oh my goodness. And Kate even like apologized. I'm sorry about the the wait. For Kate the Great, I don't mind waiting one bit. Not one single bit.
Exactly.
Her energy is phenomenal. And
I
just
thought you were going to say that she apologized for being so great, and I'm like,
oh
well,
well,
you better.
yeah, you don't need to apologize for being so great. I mean, sure, it is stunning.
But
And
she
but
takes all the great though.
I think she deserves it. So
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so yeah, there's the music, and I just want to talk real quick about what's going on here in February. We're running out of February, friends. It's quickly.
we are.
Yeah. And I do want to say this is Fantasy Age February. What that means is that we've got some sales. We've got some things going on that are, well, they're just top shelf. They're just remarkable sales. I'm going to drop a link for you, and it is called, let me get to it real quick. You know, it is our 25th anniversary. It's our birthday. It's Green Orneen's birthday, and we are celebrating it all year long.
By being in your birthday suit all the time?
That's me. I am going to be at all the conventions. I'm going to be, because I am also 25 years old. And I will be wearing my birthday suit, which is a really fun suit that looks like a birthday cake. It's not naked. Like you thought.
I thought you were just going to dress in frosting. So
no, I only do that for some people. So here, I'm dropping a link, and it is right there. While there are a few days left in February, you want to get in on some of these deals here. I'm going to share the screen just because I want to. There's Devious. There's the share. And let me, unfortunately, I've got the largest monitors. What happened to you? Let's see.
Available to mankind.
Yes. Yes. And so they kind of make things a little weird. But we will unweird them here. We'll do it live.
Woo!
So I can't do this, but I will take you here. So this is the Fantasy Age February landing page. On it, oh yeah. If you, Kate, if you're still here, drop them in the private chat, and we will share them. But take a look at this. Okay, so you've got the first edition PDF Mega Bundle. That is a big bundle of stuff. I know this isn't M&M stuff, but it's, it's adjacent. It is a bundle of all first edition stuff. It's $120 worth of stuff for $32.99. It's the basic, it's the Fantasy Age Basic Rulebook, first edition PDF, the Fantasy Age Layers, Campaign Builder's Guide, Trojan War, Bestiary, the Fantasy Age Companion. That's a great one. Game Master's Kit is the first edition PDF, Death in Freeport, 20th Anniversary Edition, Fantasy Age Encounters, Children's Crusade, Menace from the Mines, Drive for Justice, and Ancient Shadows. You get all of those PDFs, and Fantasy Age, the adventure game engine is a bunch of tools that you can and kind of mix and match, and so some of this first edition stuff will be a great resource for you. So do dive into that. And let's go over here real quick. Techno Fantasy is on sale. That's brand new. That's sort of our fantasy at the edge of apocalypse. That's from Malcolm Shepard. We've got Cthulhu Mythos. Why not add a little fun Cthulhu to your Fantasy Age? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to? Lair of the Horned Giant. You've also got, the second edition core rulebook is on sale. Menace of the Grave Warrens is on sale. Return to the Valley of the Whispering Titans is on sale. And another bundle. You can get the, this is amazing. So you can get the book, the PDF, and then the digital Game Master's Toolkit. Normally it would be, and this is print. This is print, and the core rulebook is print and a PDF, and then you get the PDF of the Game Master's Toolkit. $75. Normally $120.85. So it's a deal.
Wow.
It's a deal and a steal.
Wow.
Check that out. There'll be I'm gonna release a video here in a bit with all the juicy details, but you're gonna want to go to the link I've dropped in chat and pick you up something nice from the Fantasy Age February collection. And don't spend all your money, spend a lot of it. But we've got next up is it's what comes after February? March. It is the March Madness.
Oh dear. Not Madness.
Yes, you're confusing me. What is March Madness in Freeport? March Madness in Freeport. We'll have Freeport specials, lots of things happening. We've got big plans, and we will share them here very shortly because we are plotting and scheming. And every single month for this year, we will have something special.
Ooh.
And so we highly encourage you to check it out. And we've got a birthday party coming up.
Ooh, whose birthday?
It's Green Orneen's birthday.
What?
Yes.
It's almost like I heard that very, very not long ago. I don't know. Anyway,
just moments ago, even maybe.
That's right. The big party.
That's right. It'll be a big party. We're going to do it over in the think tank. More detail and information on that to come. But we've got lots of special stuff to talk about as the year, and it's a big year, Devious.
It is.
For reasons that I cannot share and other reasons that we want to kind of make a surprise. But now it's time for us to talk about what's in the tank. What do we have? Hold on 1 second. Hold there. Hold, please. Here we go.
Holding.
So, Mr. Super Spy, your President Reagan will not help you now. You are a prisoner of the United Soviet Socialist Republic, and you will answer our questions. Tell us, what's in the tank?
There we go. What's in the tank, my friend? Lay it on me.
What is in the tank? Well, let us go first to
We're back.
the tank itself.
Around and something.
Woohoo! So February 23rd, 2025.
Hold on, we're backwards.
Uh-oh. I'm what?
We're flipped around. We're
I'm backwards? Why did you what?
It's Knat et knee style.
Knat et knee snow schnock with the snooter.
Uranberth.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this.
Ta-da!
And it's suddenly no longer Mirror Reverso Bizarro World.
Nice.
Egg salad. Now, first of all, we have in the tank, we have a couple of good articles. We got Arekor Vorak talking about the timeline of Heroic Earth, Part 2. Judgment Comes for All by Big Nate. And another one of my articles, Grand Theft articles, psychology behind an immersive superhero campaign. Really, really good video by the GM philosopher, and I kind of basically went through it and
We like
decided
that. Yeah, we like
here's
that.
how it would apply to a Mutants and Masterminds game. So really, really good, insightful information there. And the link for the video is actually in the article itself.
Nice.
The article featured, though, is Nate's Judgment Comes for All.
Oh.
Yes, it's basically a group of anti-heroes gathered together. Of course, they have the theme of the 7 deadly sins. And just take a
Cool.
look through some really, really scurry stuff. And back in the Aegis files, look at all this stuff. Look
Holy
at
crap.
all this stuff. I know there's tons of characters ready to use in the game. I mean, just click in there. They're ready to pull and plug in. And of course, in the news, we got the great Kate the Great. The great Kate the Great. Not the standard average everyday Kate
No,
the
it's the
Great.
great one. Yeah,
The
no,
great
yeah,
one.
yeah. I
That
mean,
one.
the other one's fine. The other one's fine, but we
Yeah, the
have
other
to
one's
make-
okay, but I apologize. The link did not work. But if you go to linktr.ee/Kate the Great Cosplays, you will find her link tree with all the different places that she gets linked up to.
That's right.
And
And we'll put the
on,
links, friends, in the show notes as well.
yeah,
So look for it there. And yeah, fantastic.
absolutely. And of course, they're the featured article, 7 Deadly Sins, Justice Comes for All.
Lovely.
And the featured stat blocks. I just thought I'd feature Chris Davies because he's really knocking it out. My favorite archetype, my favorite entry of his, rather, I should say, is archetype. The archetype.
Nice.
1 second. He's in here somewhere. Oh, please. There we go. The archetype. He's an advanced hybrid android created by the transhumanist, transdimensional imperialists known as the Vision.
Mm.
Engineered as a multiversal scout designed to explore parallel realities, gathering crucial intelligence on both the gains and threats to the Vision's ambitions. What are
Nice.
they? Read the article. It's a really good read and really great character. So, that's all I got for the moment. We are concocting all sorts of wonderful contests in the future for you guys out there. We'll figure those out, get those in there, and get the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, thank you, Kate, for that reminder. The Don't Kill My Character group, they are playing Superhero Shenanigans. I love it. They're great. You'll see our old friend Cloud.
Cloud.
Yeah, Cloud hangs out over there, and it's wonderful. It's great to watch. They got it's a wonderful chemistry. You'll really enjoy it, and we'll be sure to leave that link as well in the show notes. So if you're watching this on demand, you will be able to pick that up. There's a lot of stuff going on in the tank, and all you got to do is go to atomicthinktank.com. Don't use Devious's personal invite link. Use I'm kidding. You can if you like. But
get over there, sure. However you can get there.
Yeah, that's the truth. We definitely enjoy it when people, all you have to do is answer 3 short questions, and the questions are very, how do you say, pretty easy. But it's just a way for us to sort of get to know you a little bit. And now here's the deal: you may be thinking, oh, all this talking and all this extra sort of exuberant energy. You can be a lurker. We welcome lurkers. Just don't be a jerk. But you can come in and you can hang out and you can sort of read some stuff and be inspired. And then maybe if you're so inclined, drop a heart on some of the stuff that people are doing. And and that's really the exchange.
We do it for the hearts.
And yeah, exactly. And if you want to dive in, or you want to create a character, you want to enter something into the Aegis files, it's just for fun. And we may pick random. We may do a random drawing for prizes and stuff if it's themed. But it's not about who does the best. It's about who does it at all, like who participates. And the community is very kind and very generous and thoughtful and really fun to work with. And so don't be intimidated, but be inspired and come in and read and borrow and sort of engage. And lurk or be as active as you like. It's just a great community of friendliness, and really, honestly, not a lot goes on except for the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Talking about how to play, when to play, what you're doing, thoughts and advice. Nobody's overbearing. Nobody's telling you there's one way to do it and you're doing it the wrong way. None of that
Right.
at all. Kate says,
Great
hello.
community.
Yeah, a great community.
Always
Absolutely.
willing to help too. That's one of the things I really, really enjoy about it. If you have a
Absolutely.
question, you can get in the M&M Commons chat, ask questions about the system, about the game world, anything. There's a lot of knowledgeable people there ready to help.
And we really are looking at, I mean, yeah, really seriously, you know, what is the airspeed velocity of a coconut laden swallow?
What? I don't know.
You're wrong. No. So yeah, lots of great stuff happens there. And, you know, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but we are doing a whole little segment on it, and so I just encourage you to stop by and check it out. Just take a peek, and I guarantee you. Now, maybe you know, it's Mutants and Masterminds. It's all kinds of good stuff. There is the Cape and Cow Club. That's a membership club. That's outside of all the good stuff that we're talking about. Everything else is free. You just have to give your soul.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, absolutely. Devious, thank you so much. What a great show. I'm always relieved as we get to the kind of the end of especially if it's been particularly tech heavy, and this one weighed heavy on my spirit, but we made it. And lots of good
Absolutely.
information, lots of great stuff about the tank, lots of good stuff about cosplaying. Who would you cosplay if money were no object? And you had all of the, you know, accoutrement that you needed, who would you be?
Who would I be?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Probably my 25-year-old version of myself. There'd be
Nice.
surgery involved and a time travel device, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yes,
that's a good idea. I'd like to do that myself.
Yeah.
Be the 25-year-old you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I'll give
okay,
you
all
some
right.
tips on if you ever
So-
get there. You know.
All right. Well, let's kind of maybe we can exchange bios, and then you can be me, like a kind of what do they call that? Freaky Friday.
There you go. Oh
Yeah.
my God, Paul Rua has the perfect cosplay, the Juicy Juice Bear.
Juicy the Juice Bear. That's so good. I love that. That's a good one. Yeah, and I will say, you know, I am working on a Gravy Squatch costume where his gravy is expressed in the shape of in the form of a glittery sort of you know, dangly, magical looking gravy rivulets.
Sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it'll be something. It'll be either the worst idea ever, and I will regret it for all my livelong days, or it'll be fun. We'll see.
Woohoo!
Either or. Any final words? Anything that you'd like to share before we pull the plug on this Mumemo?
I am good to roll on, sir. I had a great Mumamo, great time listening to Kate the Great and SgtStrawberry. Get out there, dig
Yeah.
into those links, take a look at all the wonderful photos they have. Check it
Yes.
out and get in the tank and hey, come say hi.
I'm gonna cosplay as Steve Kenson.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, friends. Thank you very much again. Love goes out to chat for being just absolute miscreants. Love every bleeding moment of it. Have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to stop back by for Thursday. That happens this coming Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on these channels. You know where we are. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.